showtime!
Splash art tier list. This one was really difficult to make. Unlike all the other things I've ranked so far, this one only has one thing to go by, and that's just a picture. That's all. Granted, they're really good looking pictures in a lot of cases. And I actually ranked them in order this time. So the rightmost in the F tier is going to be the worst, and the leftmost in the S tier is going to be the best. And remember, these are all personal opinions, which means we're all gonna like different things. That's just something you should probably keep in the back of your mind when you're writing your 1,000-word hate essay down below, which, you know, I totally get. I get the same way when somebody says Bulbasaur isn't the best Pokemon starter, which how can you refute? He's literally number one. I think even the most die-hard Noelle simps can agree that her splash is really nothing special. It's not bad, but the pose is meh. The skill effect is, you know, it's okay. And somebody has to be in last place, so, you know, it's Noelle. Despite being second from the bottom, I think we're already at a big step up for Noelle. Again, because they're at the bottom doesn't mean they're bad, just means somebody has to be down here. And I think Lisa's is a pretty good candidate because it is very simple. And even if you like the fact that it is simple, I like a little bit more of the fancy splash arts. And next in the line of starter characters getting no love is Kaya. Not much I can say other than I like it, it's just a bit boring to me compared to others. You know, I can't remember why I put this above Lisa and Kaya's, because it's almost as bland as Noelle's. So I don't know. She can stay here for now. Cute doggo, neat pose. That's about it. I really like the coloring in the swords. Really about it. Not the most exciting start to D tier, but there's almost 50 characters. I gotta keep it short sometimes. I have absolutely nothing to say here. First 5-star. I do think Kazuha's is a little bit messy, and I do wish they textured all the wind effects like they did on the bottom half. I just don't like it a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who probably love it. Nice little look at Beto's shield and little weird fish dragon thing. I'm assuming it's supposed to be a fish because she's a pirate. A barracuda maybe? I don't freaking know. Someone in the comments will tell me. Pretty cute little pose with her Daruma, but more importantly, I can relate to both of their facial expressions at basically any given moment. One thing I really don't like about this Razor Splash is how polygonal the claw looks. I'm not alone in this, right? Like, it looks weird, like almost kind of incomplete and just out of place. Other than that, it's fine. Sucrose actually is a very nice gacha splash, but I gotta admit that it looks a lot better the darker background you put it on. And when I initially rated it, I had it against a much lighter background than it is here, and I think I would have rated it a little bit higher if it was against like pure black. In any case, I'm too lazy to change it now. Khalees is nice and all, you know, portrays her nice, happy personality, but I feel like they really missed an opportunity with putting just a bunch of explosions and death and fire in the background. Like, ultimately, wouldn't something like this make so much more sense for her? She's an arsonist, but she's a happy little arsonist. Am I being too generous to Bennett? Maybe. My little monkey brain just says, I like it and he belongs here. I think we can all agree that this is a pretty damn cute splash art. And what's not to like about it? The fire looks good too. I actually really like when they include some terrain on the splashes like they did here in Aloy's. Just a little bit can look really nice sometimes. This one might surprise some people, but I honestly don't. I'm not a massive fan of this one. I do like it, but much like Kazuha's, I find it a little bit messy and unfocused. And I don't know. I could like it more. Yeah, that's right. I am putting Amber above Yoimiya, not by much, but she's above her. Amber's is simplicity done really, really well. It's got a nice action pose. It's got Baron Bunny included, which is, you know, a core part of Amber's identity, and not much going on in terms of effects, but it still managed to be really nice looking. I'm still low-key holding a grudge against this gacha splash just for being a little bit of a bitch to work with in thumbnails. Other than that, it's fine looking. I just think in all like the visual departments, he's not really excelling here. Cool splash, moving on. A lot of beautiful art going on here, but I feel like a higher contrast in the flowers and the frost effects at her feet could have done this a lot of good. Something a little like this. Oh man, just look at this coloring. It's so beautiful. If only I felt the same way about the rest of it. Much like Ganyu's, I feel like Kaching's could have benefited from a little bit more contrast. I just don't like all that pastel purple pink going on in the background. I'd like a little bit more variety. Very beautiful artwork though. Moving on to B tier, we got Ningy Wingy with just some beautiful artwork. I mean, what else is there to say? Obligatory appreciation of Sarah's awesome wings that we do not get to see nearly enough with a cool pose. 2 words, color scheme. I've got a weakness for cotton candy like color schemes like blue, pink, purple, any combination of those, I love it. And well, this is just more of that. Nice art, nice terrain, nice pose, all that, you know, just good looking splash. You look me in the eyes right now and tell me that cute little, whatever the fuck that animal stamp thing is cute as shit, that it does not deserve to be at least this high, if not higher. If you say anything other than that, you are a liar and a scoundrel. Can we all agree that for a 4-star, Chongyun got one hell of a splash? Like, this seems way over the top for your average 4-star. But like in the best way possible, because fuck, it looks good. It's a little hard to explain why I don't like Aptos as much as you'd think I might, because I love water effects so much and the color blue, but I don't know, I guess I just don't like the shapes and what's going on in the background as much. It almost seems like an amalgamation of a few ideas with the pools of water in the background, the flowers from his burst, and then the little rain droplets, and they're all just kind of over the place a little bit. Even though this splash is now my worst nightmare since I just recently got her C6, I do still love it. It is beautiful looking. I love the colors, love the pose, love the terrain. It is just an all-around fantastic looking splash. But please don't show up on my account anymore. My boy! I do love Ito's splash a lot. I love the brush strokes in it. I love the Oni. I love all of it. I don't love it as much as the ones above it. It's color that's mostly holding it back. I like vibrant colors. Now this splash has the nice contrast I wish ones like Kaching and Ganyu's had. At least a lot closer than they are anyway. The color in the spirit really stands out, but why does she have a talisman covering her face? I don't know if this is supposed to be like this. It doesn't exactly look like it's attached to her head like Chi-Chi's. Xiao's is just so fucking cool. They used high contrast between darks and lights very, very well here. Just as with Sucrose's earlier, honestly, Xiao's benefits greatly from viewing him against a dark background, and I don't think I rated him as high as I would have if I had judged them based on this. Wu Tao's got one of those bursts that is just thematic as hell. You got the ghost, you got the butterflies, you got her showing off her little pranks of personality with her wing, and top it off, just a nice little freeze frame of her burst. One of the worst sights any would-be wishers could possibly see in their wishing session, a silhouette that strikes the fear in almost every Genshin player known to man, except for the sociopaths who actually want to lose 50/50s and get Chi-Chi's. However, it's near impossible to deny just how good-looking Chi-Chi's splash is, as well as literally every other aspect of Chi-Chi. It's really easy to understand why people want to play her, even if she's not very good. I mean, that's the only thing really holding her back. It is 100% the colors that got Rosaria this high. The dark blues in the spear really contrast nicely with the burgundies and reds in her actual character, and you even got the highlights of the blues along like the edges of her legs and stuff like this. Really just makes for a beautiful piece of artwork just in general. Most characters end up getting spell effects and stuff that actually match the color of their outfit, so you know, this isn't a thing that comes up very often. Even for characters that did, like Beidou earlier, it just didn't quite have the same effect as Rosaria's does, at least not to me. Seeing Beidou's splash just immediately makes me think Giga Flare from Sephiroth in Smash. Like, that pose is pretty goddamn cool. And because of the angle he's at, I actually like to imagine him like surfing along the ground rather than just standing on the elevator. That's way more cool, but regardless, it is an awesome looking splash. Man, the coloring in the Phoenix looks nice on Luke's splash. If all of the fire looked like that, I think it would still look awesome, but I get why they would want to keep the Phoenix special so it at least pops a little bit more rather than just blends in with all the fire. As with any terrain in a splash, the cobblestone at the feet really anchors them and really just, it makes the whole thing look whole. And please show up on my account more, Luke. I need your final 2 constellations. Aw, yeah, look at them deep blues. If the constellation themes behind Mona were all like high saturation galaxy themed, like a lot of lights, light purples, dark purples, blues, etc. Oh, that should be straight to the top. But don't get me wrong, it is still amazing looking the way it is. Honestly, they did a phenomenal job with all the standard 5-star characters. Like, they didn't age poorly. They looked fantastic from the start and they still look fantastic for today. Good job, art team. Now, maybe they can put you to work more often and get you make some more skin splashes too, if they release skins more than once every like half a year. To all you unfortunate non-Venti owners out there who have never gotten Venti, or maybe just never looked at the gacha splash outside the game either, did you ever notice that there's actually a little scenery of Mondstadt inside the scene below him? If you did notice, good job. Good for you. You're a lot better than me because I sure as shit never noticed, and I probably spend more time looking at these things than the average player, and that's just sad on my part. I mean, I've definitely seen the windmills. I noticed those, but what I really didn't notice was the tiny Dvalin. Gotta appreciate the small details. Xinyan recognition time, because she's always high on these lists, and she's the winner of the 4 stars. I think a lot of people are actually going to disagree with this one quite heavily, especially citing characters like Diluc as being better, having better fire effects, whatever, blah blah blah. I just love the theming of Xinyan, the musician aspect, the rocker, the punk rocker. You know, she's got pyrotechnics as a burst. It's in her splash art here. You got the visualizer effect around her head. It's just an amazing looking splash art, especially for a 4-star. Now we're getting into some of the ones that just kind of like paint a big scene, which I could see an argument for being a downside, as it's almost kind of lazy to just have a big blob. But if they were just a big flat circle without anything coming out of the borders, I would totally agree. That would be awful looking. Luckily, that's not what they did, and I think they did a really good job with these. The purple fox down below looks really nice, and I think it's one of the best parts about this whole image. I just wish they extended it even further to cover most of the circle, like a crescent moon. It's a very minor nitpick. Everything Yai's did well, I think Raiden's just does better. Not only in the choice of colors, the color balance, but I also love the asymmetry of the background where it's not just a big circle, kind of like Yai's is. Even if she's not a flat circle, yeah, Raiden still has a lot more going on. And as cool and iconic as her pose in this is, it is not as iconic as what's coming next. The positioning of Zhongli and Raiden could probably change from day to day depending on when you ask me. However, I think Zhongli would win more often than not. I just think the sky opening up behind him is fucking badass. The way he's holding out his hand as if he was holding the meteor, also awesome. Got that beautiful contrast I love so well, and yeah, it's just a great looking splash. I love this splash. There is only one I like more than it, and they both have something in common. I can't say enough good things about my boy Tartagel's splash. It's perfect. But there's one that's more perfect. People who have watched my other lists, and if you haven't, should go do that after this. You might have been able to guess who I'd put on top, or you might have had a couple guesses. Or, you know, if you're just good at keeping a mental checklist, you'd know who's left. It's Kokomi, and admittedly, it is actually really hard for me to verbally defend why she's here at number 1. I'm not particularly good at articulating why I like something, especially something so visually subjective like art. I can tell you that I love the blues that they used in this image so much that I want it injected directly into my eyeballs. Most of you already know if you see my videos that I love water-themed things. I just think that Kokomi's did it the best. I mean, the colors are very vibrant, and that's one thing I love. I love the fish, and I love the fact that there's like an ocean floor backdrop down at the bottom. I don't think anybody was forgotten. Luckily, the Travelers don't have a splash, so I didn't have to talk about them. Any day I don't have to talk about the Traveler is a good day. Once again, if you have not checked out the other lists, check them out. They will be in a playlist down below. Links to socials and things like Patreon and YouTube membership down below if you would like a direct way to support me, which would be greatly appreciated. But ultimately, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.